Had a bit of a false start on this one. Not gonna lie to you. So now I'm a bit shook, as it were. Hopefully, I don't goof this too bad. I was not gonna do a stream tonight because I'm real tired, and I think I said that last time too, which is just the state of my life at this point. And I got lots going on, but somebody commented and said it would be really great if you streamed more often. And I've kind of had this one baking in the background for like a week, and I've been really wanting to do it. It's going to be short, it's going to be sweet, it's going to be to the point. Um, yep, it sure was you. Live Prayer Podcast. You've been awesome. I love all of your comments and really appreciative of your support. So, ask and you shall receive, I suppose. But I found this Instagram post a while ago about these Ethiopian forests. And, we've been on a bit of a tear with Ethiopian content here for a while. It fascinates me. I think it's beautiful. I think it's mysterious and intriguing. And I think it's like just incredibly holy. So I found this article that I'm just well, it's not so much an article as just an Instagram post. Probably would have been really cool if I was able to share the photos from it, but I put a link to the original post in the description of this video that you can check out. So I'm going to read the caption and then just read the different parts from the carousel on it. And just talk a little bit about redemption and creation and priesthood and Adam's original role in Eden, and basically how Adam failed to live up to that and has gone downhill since. But through Christ and his saving work in humanity, we are looking to restore that. And there's this very beautiful display of that sort of thing going on in these super secret, or maybe not so secret, church forests of Ethiopia. So I'm just going to read it. The caption, this is from a page called Imagine 5 Official, which I guess has a lot to do with like conservation efforts and creation. And I did not look into anything else when it comes to this page. I just found this one post. So I don't know what their deal is. I am not advocating everything that they do because I don't know anything that they do aside from this one post. But it says, in the last 100 years, Ethiopia has lost the majority of its forests due to cultivation and sprawl. However, in the Northern and Central Highlands of Ethiopia, thousands of small forest oases, known as church forests, can be found. Covering an area equivalent to that of England and Wales, these forests are managed and protected by the priests of the churches. Are these Ethiopian priests onto something? Question mark. And the picture shows basically this deserty land around it, or kind of like this fallow farmland. And then around this wall are these thriving green, lush forests. And in the very center of those little forest areas are Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo churches. And it is just the most beautiful, like, concentric circle of the kingdom of God becoming manifest and spreading out to like a deserted and dry, arid land. So here's a little bit more of what it says. Are these priests onto something? Although Ethiopia's forests have decreased by 90% in the Northern and Central Highlands, they're still home to thousands of vibrant church forests. Church forests are lush regions that surround religious landmarks such as churches or holy monuments. These forests embrace the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo churches. Forgive me, by the way, if I don't pronounce that correctly. I tried to pronounce it more properly rather than more gringo-ish, and are viewed as sacred. It is the local priest's responsibility to care for them, the forests. They offer a space for the local community to worship and to take part in cultural traditions. The green areas also boost ecological biodiversity, which have been lost in other parts of the country. Pollinators can thrive in the diverse greenery and spread to the neighboring farmland, boosting local food production. Furthermore, the forests provide lower temperatures, conserve water, and reduce soil erosion, benefiting the local communities greatly. These church forests and the priests who protect them demonstrate how care, spirituality, and community are powerful tools in nature conservation. We think these Ethiopian priests are onto something. Well, of course they're onto something. And what they're not doing is debating um, environmentalism and environmental policies. What they're doing is allowing the kingdom work that's happening in the church, in the divine liturgy, the breaking of the barrier between heaven and earth to flow outward in multiple ways. So we participate in the liturgy and we offer something from creation. I've talked about this before. We offer something that God has already given us, which is, well, let me back up a little. God offers us things that grow of the earth, wheat and grapes. And we receive them and we transform them into something beautiful, perhaps the best version of them, which is bread and wine. And we offer those back to God in the liturgy, who, never to be outdone in generosity, receives them as we offer them up, and then through his Holy Spirit gives them back to us as his very body and blood, his true body and true blood. And what do we have left to give him but our bodies to receive that? So we become these living tabernacles that then go out of the doors of the church, and the liturgy spills out past the boundary of the church into the world around us. And we have a priestly duty in that. Obviously, this is a little bit different than that of like an ordained priest in the church, but this is the priestly duty of Adam, who was given reign over creation and was told to subdue it and to give names to the animals. Like the very act of naming is so beautiful, and to protect these things. But as sin entered into the world and that relationship broke down, it was thorns and thistles and sweat of the brow that you would have to work the land, right? Um, and in these examples of what we're seeing in kind of these like highlands of Ethiopia is like, again, when you look at the pictures, if you click the link in the description, it's just this brown area around it. And then the forests are just teeming with life. So it says the biodiversity exists there that doesn't exist in other parts, and the pollinators come and go out. So the fact that they're protecting this in this priestly manner allows the creation to then go out and spread that into the neighboring lands. And so it's restoring the vitality of the farmlands, of the plants and the food around them, and it's generating more food for people to eat. So the very act of this liturgy in the central part of that forest in the church, which spills out into protecting the forest, which spills out through the creation itself into the neighboring land, is actually feeding and sustaining people. God willing, these are also people who are being fed and sustained by the very Eucharist itself. I think this is a really interesting model. Could be a really cool way for other areas to start thinking like, how does this work in a city, right? Does a church have a neighborhood garden that's surrounding the church? Are you using the church's green space for this sort of thing? Or in other areas that are the same, like, do you just kind of build this boundary around somewhere that has maybe less than favorable land around it and restore it and work the land to maybe its intended glory? You know, the thumbnail for this video says Eden in Ethiopia. So it's this restoration, it's this movement back into paradise through the liturgy. I really think through the liturgy, which is just par excellence, though, the best thing that we can be doing with our time. So kind of short and sweet. As always, I am open to any questions that you have about anything. Anyone who might be hanging out or checks out the chat, I'm perfectly okay with letting this be short. Maybe shorter and more often is better. But yeah, it's interesting, all these ideas kind of packed into that just little bit, just from this Instagram post of like becoming something, right? Like growing, building something. So over on our locals community, which the description for that is also in the link to that is also in the description for this video. We're currently going through the ascetical homilies of St. Isaac the Syrian. We've had a few people come over and join us from YouTube. We would be honored if you want to come hang out with us. But tonight we started reading homily 3 right before I did this. I did that. And it's kind of this talk about what is the nature of our soul. So like what is our nature? What is the nature of humanity? And I think in the example of these Ethiopian forests, what is the nature of creation? So St. Isaac talks about how like our nature is this translucent, illuminated, dispassionate self, and all of the things that come to us are external. It's these external temptations, these external battles with the world. And in earlier homilies 1 and 2 of St. Isaac talks about what is the world? What does that mean? That causes us to have basically these addictions to the passions, so that the entire trajectory of human life is becoming truly human, becoming what we're really meant to be. And there's sort of this paradox of it's not so much about us fighting against evil or trying to remove things, but to go after the kingdom within, to find Christ within ourselves through participation in the liturgy and in the sacramental life of the church, the holy mysteries. But we still have these things to do, like fasting and hard work. Not that fasting and hard work saves us. These works don't save us, but they make us more available for that participation. So I think in a similar way with this, we participate in creation first and foremost through the liturgy, but then going out, going forth into the world and tilling the soil and taking care of these things, bringing order out of chaos. Like I noticed my house where I live, it's heading into winter now. It's quite cold today, but I always go through this process of winterizing. So I cut down certain bushes, I trim certain things, I mow the grass one final time, I put away, hoses and turn off water outside and cover the air conditioning unit, these sorts of things. And when for a while I had neglected it because I had been so busy, and I just had this feeling of like unsettled. And then after I took care of all that, I like stood up at my road and looked down at my house, and I just felt like there's this peace that comes along with bringing order out of these things. Like the physical directly is connected to spiritual things. You bring order out of chaos and you find peace within. And this goes along with like, I heard a spiritual director of mine one point said, there's all this obsession right now with exorcisms, and you have all these podcasts like the Exorcist Files and things like that. He said, you really want to perform a good exorcism? Play with your children, clean up your home, bring order, take out the trash. There was another podcast with Father Andrew Damick on Coptic Orthodox Answers where he talked about this, like, take out the garbage. That chases the demons away. Like literally take out the garbage, So, pull the weeds, protect creation. This has an impact on the spiritual world around us. And turn towards Christ. It's love that transforms, So start with the liturgy. And I guess a closing thought, as I've rambled on, these are all things that are just like weighing on. Anytime I share anything, it's basically stuff that I'm chewing on in my own spiritual life. But I came across this quote from St. Porphyrios today. He's a Greek Orthodox saint. And he said, quote, "You don't become holy by fighting evil. Let evil be. Look towards Christ, and that will save you." What makes a person saintly is love. One of my children's crying, so I probably need to go. Check out the article, check out the Instagram post. Let me know what you think. Pop some comments in. As always, I think there's a lot we can learn from looking towards the Ethiopian tradition and the things going on there, because the more I make friends in that world and read things and learn things, it seems like there's just total dedication to Christ in that tradition. And yeah, look to the fringes, look to the border. Peace.